I'm Connie Onyegbunwa.
Welcome to Untold Stories of America. Today's guest would be the great Mr. Mac. At least that's what I would like to call him. He is a art teacher. He's an art teacher. Specifically, he teaches Accelerated Art 1 and the AP art classes. I believe that he's one of the greatest teachers ever. He will push you to your limits and make you great. You'll come in and then come out being a better person. So today's topic, actually I should probably let Mr. Mac say himself. So Mr. Mac,
yeah, hey.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm I think I'm ready for a little weekend.
Yeah.
You?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No, but it was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
You know. But hi.
Hi. So today's topic would be about love and how he met his wife and his family and stuff like that. I know for Lovejoy, family's a really big thing, especially in Texas, all of those things. It's a very community-based. Mm-hmm. And I believe the way Mr. Mac talks about...
I don't mind being called Mr. Love. I mean, that
Mr.
sounds
Love?
intense.
Mr. Love?
Mr. Love.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
No.
That would be the best nickname ever. Anyways, I love the way he talks about his wife, family, all of those things. He brings love into the classroom, I believe. So, Mr. Mike, why do I keep calling you that?
I'll be Mr. Mike, Mr. Love, whatever.
Okay. Mr. Mac.
Yeah.
Let's start with this. Like, before you even met your wife, right? You met your wife in college, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, let's make it story-based.
Right.
So, in high school, right, how are you like?
Man, I don't know. I think when I look back, at the moment, I was very, it's one of those deals that you think that you're like totally who you are, right?
Yeah.
You think you're totally honest and you're totally authentic, and then as you get older, you always look back and you're like, man, I could have done better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
I feel like.
There's some things that I look back and I'm like, God dang. Not about looks or anything like that. Like,
yeah.
Whatever, right? I feel pretty good about my fashion sense in high school. But I think looking back, I wish I had a lot of opportunities to show people kindness that instead of actually going going the extra mile to show kindness or to stand up for people. Sometimes I was on the sideline just because I was, sadly, I think we're all a little bit self-absorbed,
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
sometimes it's easier to go through life and kind of just focus on the close things instead of hearing all the things that are going on.
I totally agree with that. I feel like even being a teenager, that heightens that self-absorbedness because you truly believe everybody's looking at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like anyone who's listening to this, nobody is looking at you the way you think you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to sleep and thinking about, oh my gosh, he wore those shoes or he wore that ugly shirt. Nobody cares enough to do that.
But we'll lay there and think about it.
Yeah,
like, oh my God.
And to put in perspective, you think everybody's thinking about you. So everybody else is thinking that everybody's thinking about them.
Everybody's thinking about themselves. Yeah.
So in the end of the day, everybody's too focused on themselves to think about you.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way.
So I feel like, in high school, everybody kind of, I think most people try to do their best, even when you screw up, right? Yeah. So I made some bad choices. I made some bad choices in women in high school. Yeah, definitely. But I feel like in high school, at least, I saw it as an opportunity to kind of figure out what it is that, what it was I was looking for, And I feel like I always attracted crazy. Like I always attracted crazy. Like it was the weirdos.
Like the weird girls were the
ones
that was attracted to you.
The ones that had mega problems, like mega issues. And so I was always like, like every relationship, whether it was their parents were crazy or they were crazy or both. So, I got stories for that, but I don't know.
All right.
I don't know what you want to know about my high school life. I think that in high school even, I've always, high school, college, even when I first met my wife, I was always friends with a bunch of female people.
Yeah, I think that's amazing.
Because females were always, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but females were always a little bit more mature, and it was always more just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of female just friends,
Yeah.
So I was always the guy that
with the female friends.
Yeah, and they were always coming to talk to me about problems, and I'm like, well, it's because you're dating an idiot, right?
Absolutely.
Like they'd be like, yeah, but he's so hot. And I'm
It's like, is he?
Yeah,
though?
but he's an idiot.
Yeah,
I mean,
like let's be honest, right? He's so hot. 20 years later, he was probably like not that good looking.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. It was, and I grew up in a small. Went to a small school, and so it was like, it was. Anyway, that was kind of my thing in high school. I feel like as that even as I've looked back, and I think everybody looks back, and if you have a heart, you're like, God dang, man, I really messed that up.
Yeah.
Not the whole time, but like little things. Like little things will stick out to you. Yeah. Like I literally, I'll have memories of people, like my friends, like saying something to somebody, and instead of being like shut up, because you're their friend, and you can say that, and you can call them out, and you can be like, yeah, don't do that. Yeah. Instead, I was just quiet.
Yeah, I totally have some instances with that, but it was usually like the wrong friends. Looking back. Yeah. It was a very toxic relationship. It was a power imbalance where they'll make fun of me, but I'll play it off. Yeah, it's like because I was known as the chill one, right? Sure. Like the cool one who doesn't get offended of racist jokes, right? So I'll take it and take it and take it, and eventually, obviously, I'm going to snap. To snap or whatever. Looking back, it wasn't a friendship. It was just somebody that knew they could bully me, and they knew that I wasn't going to say anything. Right. So that's something that, like, I wish I would have said something sooner, right? Yeah. I wish I could have stand up for myself. Yeah. But throughout high school, you were like that, and then, what college you decided to go to, and why?
So I went to college in Colorado in a little town called Gunnison, and I chose there specifically. So, long story, I actually, like, the way that I got to go to college was to play football. Okay. And that was really never my crowd. And so I didn't really hang out that much with that crowd. I mean, in high school I did because we were a small school, but it was just my way to get to college. And I don't watch football now. I don't know a lot about it. I was just, I guess, blessed enough to be good at it, and I was angry, and so it was one of those, it just was a good fit. And so I had a lot of different opportunities to go to different schools, and so I visited schools all over the country, big ones like UT and Rice and Navy and Air Force.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
But none of those were me. When I went and visited, didn't feel right, and so I started looking at smaller schools because I really like kind of a tighter circle.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And so I fell in love with this place. It was like my heaven, and so I went to school in this little bitty town in Colorado, and it was quite lit. It still is my heaven. My wife literally today, like I can pull up my phone, literally today, my wife sent me a picture of the town that we met, which is 30 miles north of where I went to college, right there.
That is amazing.
And like, look, and the very next text, she's like, let's move. Right? And so, I don't know, it was perfect to me, not just because it got me out of small West Texas town, but the Colorado was always the place that that was the one place that we would take vacation. And my dad worked really, really hard to provide for us, and it was like he gave everything, you know what I mean? And we had a great life. Like I'm not even complaining. We had a great life. He gave everything. But the one vacation we ever took was Colorado, right? Yeah. And so in my mind, like even when I was a kid, that was paradise, right? Because that was the one time my dad wouldn't work. That was the one time that was just kind of like
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I went there. And it was my heaven. I still have friends there. I still that's where I feel like my life. It's where I found direction. It's where I found change. It's where I met the professor that he was. I always say that he was the first good teacher I had, and that sounds pretty crappy. But he was like the first good teacher I had. Right?
Good teachers make a difference.
Oh, he was like great. Yeah. Oh man, he was amazing. His name's Al Caniff, and he was like, he changed everything. That was what I didn't go to school to be an art teacher. God dang, that isn't what I had in mind. I thought I was going to be working in the Forest Service.
Yeah.
And so it changed everything.
And when we come back, more stories of Untold Stories of America. And I'm Connie Onyegbunwa.
Hey guys, welcome to the school store. Make sure to have some school spirit and buy some Lovejoy Leopards merch. The best part is the wide variety of colors our store provides. $20 $20. $20. Cute and affordable? You should buy. The school store is located in the Commons. Come and buy your spirit wear.
So let's put up like an image for the
Okay.
people that's listening. All
Yeah.
right. Where did you meet your wife, and what was the first things that you thought about her? It could be anything. It could be something bad as in wow, I don't really like this person, or something amazing.
No. I mean, so still in college. I mean, I hung around with a lot of good people, but I hung around with a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And the first time I met my wife, I was running a Mexican food restaurant, and I hired this friend of mine, and her name was Kat, and she was just cool. She was like one of those girls that's kind of like a dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like a total dude. And her and I were really,
It's a
really
dude
tight.
in a girl's body.
Yeah, you know, I mean, she
Yeah.
was just like one of those people you hang out with, and you're like, I don't know. I mean, she was just coolest, and she's like, man, you always date like crazy girls, and I was like, yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, man. And at the time, I was dating this girl that was just weird, and she wouldn't ever leave my house.
That is very.
And I mean, I'm serious. I'd be like, dude, listen, I just want to go to bed. And she's like, yes, I'll probably just hang out. I'm like, oh my God, because I'm like, listen, just shut the door on your way out, But Kat was like, listen, I got this friend coming to town, and you would she's perfect for you. And I was like, all right. And Kat didn't tell my wife Katie. She didn't tell her that she was trying to play setup, because she told me, she's like, listen, she has a boyfriend, but he's a total idiot, and so just play it off. I'm like, I don't know how to play it off.
You date crazy girls.
Yeah.
She dates idiots.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so Kat's birthday was on the 4th of July, and in this little bitty town in Colorado, and it was actually Crested Butte, and they have a 4th of July parade that is just, it's awesome. And that sounds weird, like a parade is awesome. Well, so it's up in the mountains, and July 4th, they drive these trailers way up in the mountains, and they fill them with snow, and then they drive them back into the city. And so the big parade is basically a snowball fight.
That is amazing. That seems
it's so
fun.
cool. No, it's nuts, right? And so it's a huge party. The whole city comes out, and people like people are riding snowboards on these trailers, they build ramps. It's stupid. And so Kat, for her birthday on 4th of July, she had rented out this bar called the Wooden Nickel, and it's still there. If you go to Crested Butte, you should. It's amazing. And so I showed up, right, and my wife, and it was just a party. She had rented the bar, kind of you can reserve a room or whatever. And there Katie was, right? And we were all hanging out. I mean, there was probably 30 people there. And so the first time I met her, I was with I walked in with 5 girls, right?
Oh my God.
And just because they were just my friends.
I forgot for the moment that she didn't know.
Right. And so she thought that I was with this one girl. Yeah. And I wasn't. I mean, the girl was crazy, but she was another crazy. Yeah. And so I met her at the bar, and we were, we just talked and whatever. And she's like, yeah, Kat said you're cool. And I'm like, thanks. And that was it, right? And at this moment, I mean, I was probably different than she was from Iowa, and so she was used to people that had she was used to I don't know, people with no soul, I guess. I mean, that sounds messed up. But
oh my God, somebody in Iowa listening to this.
So I know. No. Iowa's amazing, by the way. It really is. But so we met, and later that night there was a get together at a house, and I was totally she was this totally different girl, right? I was this guy. I had really long hair. I wore big pirate hoop earrings, and I was just.
You were an art kid.
Yeah,
you were an art kid.
Yeah, and it was funny because we I already could tell this girl was it. I was like, God, she's just she was hot, man. Yeah, I mean, she was. And
Mrs. Mac.
That's okay. That's all right. And she was so I knew that I kind of bugged her,
Yeah.
I knew that I kind of got under her skin. And so literally, that first night, she was walking up the stairs at this house, and I was walking down, and she was wearing her sorority sweatshirt. And I was just messing with her, and I was like, hey, Katie, what's your last name? And I mean, it's a horrible pickup line, right? And she's like, it's Wandell. And I was like, huh. And she's like, why? And I was like, yeah, it's going to sound a lot better when it's McCasland.
Oh my God.
And I was totally
Oh
kidding,
my
right?
God.
Like I was, literally, first day we met.
I have seen that. I have seen like that pickup line so many times.
And I was doing it to be funny. Like I wasn't really trying to pick her. I knew that I was doing it because I knew it bugged her. You know what I mean? Like I could tell she was like, ugh. And she did. She was like, ugh, you know, and like walked away. And I started dying laughing. And so all the rest of that week that she was there visiting her friend, I just kept kind of kidding around with her.
Yeah.
Right? And just being like, hey, you know, how's it going? Are you ready to get with the
Oh my
right
God.
guy?
Oh
you
my
know?
God.
And I mean, just
I've never seen this side of you.
no, but
It's so fun.
because you know when you like, you know when somebody you can tell that you
when
kind of get
somebody's
under somebody's skin,
and
so you're
it's
like,
more fun.
You keep messing.
Yeah.
With them. Yeah. And so that's what it was like when we first met. But I knew because Kat that week, Kat was like, so what do you think about Katie? And I was like, dude, if she wasn't so like uptight, I would marry her. And she's like, God dang. And I'm like, I know, man. I know. And crazily, so, because I know I got to wrap this up, but she actually emailed me, and this was on the birth of email, right? And I know that sounds, you're like, really, that old, right? I mean, this long ago. This was like 1998.
Oh my God.
And she emailed me and was like, hey, it was really cool to meet you, and I'm really sorry that I was just kind of like, I wasn't that nice all the time, because she's like, you know, my boyfriend and I are just going through some stuff, and I really apologize. You were really funny. I know you were kidding around. And she's like, it was nice to get to know you. And I was like, I got to roll the dice here, because I was kind of already, like, I really liked her. I did. Even in that week, like, I just liked her. Like, I mean, this sounds totally shady, and it wasn't, but, like, I would take this one girl that wouldn't leave me alone out, and then I would go and hang out with Kat and Katie, just hang out.
That kind of sounds like what my dad did.
Because I already liked her,
yeah,
you know?
that kind of sounded like what my dad did. He liked my mom since like 4th grade or something, something really young, right? They kind of lived in the same neighborhood. He really liked her. His best friend also really liked her. He goes behind his best friend's back to tell my mom that, hey, I really think you're amazing. Can we date? My mom, she didn't know him. She didn't care. She was just like, okay, whatever, you know, let's hang out. Yeah. A couple years later, 9 to 10 years later, she has 4 beautiful kids.
That's amazing.
I'm her favorite.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, so yeah, I mean, Katie. So she emailed me that, and I was like, I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna see if fate is on my side, because I really liked her. Yeah. So I responded to the email, and I hit enter until like you couldn't see anything. Well, okay. Well, let me take it back. I typed in. I said, hey, you know, I really appreciate the email, but you maybe sent it to the wrong person, because I don't remember meeting you. It sounds like whoever you met was like nice, like, you know, I hope you had a good trip, but I really don't remember you.
You did that to your wife?
Yeah, and then out of fate, I was like, okay, I got to test this. And then so I hit enter, like really long. So it was at the bottom of the email, and you couldn't see it unless you scrolled down. And I put, I'm totally kidding around with you. Like, you're amazing. I had such a good time with you. You know, I really hope we keep talking. And I sent it, and I was like, if she gets back to me, this is meant to be.
And she did.
She did. She scrolled down and read it, and she emailed me back. She's like, why would you do that? And I was like, I just wanted to test it. Like, I had to see if it was real, you know? And yeah, so we just became friends. We started constantly, like, it was the birth of the internet, and we were constantly emailing and, like, chatting. And it was funny because we kept saying, because we were both dating somebody else. That sounds super shady. I had the girl that wouldn't leave my house. She had the idiot. And we would just share stories and be like, God, we're dating such losers. And finally, well, it's too long of a story, but yeah, finally we knew that it was, we were like, huh, yeah, you're pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's
so that's how it started.
That's amazing. I think that's one of the funniest and riskiest ways to get somebody to...
well, it's better than the pickup line.
It was...
Yeah. Yeah, it's real.
The pickup line was funny. I like that one.
I don't know, man. I mean, again, even if you're just trying to get under somebody's skin, I mean, I don't recommend using bad pickup lines. You know? But it was meant to be. You can't argue with fate.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, and whatever time you are, I hope you're having a great day, and if not, I hope it gets better. This is Connie Onyegbunwa signing off on Untold Stories of America.